When you meet empowered men and women and 5D mystics, lovely woo-woo spiritual here, pseudoscience, self-help, remember, and it's not bullshit or crap. It is actually something that those who are empowered love to do. It's called emotions. Some people don't, and that's because they're not looking to integrate their brain. So, with that, we love instead to do regulation. Regulation skills equals you and I are a pair or more, and polyamory, we know how to share. The ones of us who are self aware and accountable, because we don't lose people, that's where emotions are not hard in IHP land. It's hard for people who don't want to do emotions. I don't want to do self help, personal development. It's bullshit. I will only do when I'm tortured to death. Okay, whenever you're tortured to death, fine. We, on the other hand, like to do emotions because emotions are actually the most appreciated exchange. Okay, so you're not doing emotions alone when you're with empowered men and women. That's because we know how to self regulate. What that means is Pacha shakes the hand of Cusco like Jesus taught us how to forgive, and that's as straightforward as it gets. And so, with that being said, your higher self and a person who is a perfect match or more will be able to have healthy self worth. And that is because they will be able to speak with a voice that says, hey, I love you and I want to always be around you. Now, these are the lovely cards of activation that came up today. So, I'm just sharing that with my lovely community because silence is not torture for those of us who know the truth. The truth is the 5D collective is here. It's Christ consciousness, and they're here thanks to good sciences people who tell us about our 0-1-year-old. So I'm a free 0-1-year-old, and I know how to regulate my nervous system, and that's why I can share with you how the inner growth mindset supports you to begin that process, and then the masterclass, when it's out, will continue to support you. But it's only if you want to do emotions. So emotions last about 90 seconds is what I remember. And then there's when your brain is integrated, what it will appear like in the machine. People will continue to question those of us who have a good relationship with emotions. That's for them to do and not for us to be concerned with. And so I'm looking to consistently share with you what an empowered woman, 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group has to share with anyone who wants to do emotions, and how empowered men, they do them too. It's called that we talk with an open heart. And if somebody is healing from childhood developmental trauma, they have personality disorder. It's not a disorder for long. Hopefully they change that word. It's a person whose 0-1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old found a way to keep them safe. 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Those are all the child charge parts. And when you have a whole self, that's great. We have them all together, and you can be the grown-up you like I am easily. If we have a little bit farther away from each other, then we're going to have a bit of situations with those emotions. And if there's total fragmentation and separation, then we're going to want to be aware. Okay, so self-awareness and accountability is your choice. And so it starts with I want to regulate my mood when I'm in the room, and I will regulate my thoughts and my emotions because they're not irrefutable facts. Empowered men, women, and theys in 2024 do emotions. Now, if they want an excuse, then they go to a Zen master who tells them all about laundry. And that's because IHP, we do emotions and thoughts like functional adults. Okay, so you don't have to do any of self-help or personal development. And you don't have to do spiritual awakening in the 5D way. No, you can do Elsa's journey way. That means to romanticize, or what is it, demonize. And, any person who's still doing that, I can tell you where to find them. And with that, what I love more than anything is when I meet men who are regulating and women who are regulating, because we get to chit chat about the amazing journey of being around each other as we grow what's called not only compersion, so being happy for other people, we also grow what's called the depth of emotion. So with Claire's, for example, I got the honor of having twin flames and soulmates. And in those relationships, while they were quite new, meaning when I got Claire's, I never thought in a million years that I would be a person with Claire's. Today, I can explain to Claire's from the spiritual perspective as a mystic and spirituality, from the science's perspective, thanks to attachment trauma information. What I can also share with you from my own relationship with this lovely sphere is that dysregulated and modulated embodied selves, people who don't move into what I am, I'm a restorative embodiment self. You can be here too. It's going to take your time, your motivation, not mine. So people who don't get here, they have trauma charges stored in their muscles, bones, and tissues. Thank you, Peter Levine. They don't have any demon possessing them if they get nightmare after nightmare after nightmare, and then they do a shamanic ritual instead of going to a good therapist. No, they have a fear receptor that goes wonky. And while their brain is trying to heal because you're an optimized system, you're a biology, not because you need to be taken out of context. No, you still have a spirit, soul, consciousness. This is why those words, true spirituality is a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. Means that you're a mature human being. You can walk like Jesus did. Means unconditionally loving and saying forgive. Yes, not tomorrow, not later. So the people who don't want to forgive, they are of another group. The people who want to forgive, it's not pretend. We're not faking it. If we have anger, then we process it first. So the people who went through trauma, the ones who are healing, they want healthy self-worth, empowered men and women and days, because otherwise they're going to end up with somebody who is a squirrel from Cusco land, and that's going to be a low self-esteem, indirect communicator, passive aggressive. And it's very important to notice there are 5D collective, and then there are those who are not. I'm here for the 5D collective. Again, empowered men and women. We do emotions and we enjoy each other. We talk open-heartedly. We're not afraid of losing each other. So let me share a story and we'll go. As a polyamory person, I have compersion for my partners, and I have not once been like, I'm going to lose you, in a way of fearing it, as if I'm inadequate or as if I need to change who I am. No, I'm not changing who I am. That means you don't like me, which means we're not going to be an item. If I'm not likable the way that I am, that automatically tells me we're not anything. So moving beyond the concept of the one is not hard for a person who says, I am reliant on my own sense of self, and how dare you use a different, it's like wanting to call me a different name. This is the part, though, it's not about the rigidity. It's about I stand and say, here's who I am. I enjoy being me, and I'm going to be able to be me. If you're telling me not to be me, then you don't enjoy me. You don't have to. The world is a big place. You can go and enjoy other people. So there's no fear of being thrown away in the sense of I'm a piece of shit. The people who can move out of the not wanting to be seen are people who are doing that, and that's why they're going to want people that are empowered men and women, because we're going to see them and they're going to be able to work with us when they get into moments that they will already know about and be in the moment of talking. It's very straightforward. Love is easy. It's not hard at all. And the stories are when people don't do self-aware, accountable, and they're men, they don't want to share their women. Yeah. Very funny, might I add. They don't want to regulate their nervous system either. And in fact, some of them, they just use their patterns. They're not even interesting at a certain point, because it's what I saw as a teenager, which was not interesting, which is why I don't fear inadequacy, because I see when I'm meeting Cuscos. And so if they're not empowered men, uninteresting. Not empowered women, uninteresting. That's intellectually and emotionally, because they're not regulating. So they don't know restorative embodiment. They're not interested in it. And they're going to bring to me the laundry and the human suffering bit, which I am used to, by the way, which is where I say, I'm so sorry that you have not found any decent human being, or the ones who say twin flame, it's not a real thing. They just don't want to do the work. Wow. Okay, sure. I can totally understand why you're picking on twin flames and relationships. So the ones of us who love more, it's called Empowered Women, Men, and Theys, and Mystics included, the 5D collective. So we always can have any of our relationships work because you're beautiful just the way you are. And when you have men who know that and women who know that, we don't actually act jealous. What we do is something different. So one story is where when men are afraid of losing that which they love, I've had recent interactions with friends. These are not even partners. Partners, they would not be able to get unnoticed, because see, I am a person who likes direct confrontation, and I will not hide it. I will let you know. And if I notice that you don't know how to do direct confrontation, then I will know that you're not my man. Because the minute you can't talk to me in my face with emotions, you're not a man to an empowered woman. It's not about gender stereotypes. And so, yeah, actually, one thing I will say is that I'm very happy in my lifetime of 44 years of age where I have been in places far, 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 far away from all people. And this is a very good thing because it's very good to have that silence so that you can recalibrate, recompose, and then get moving to meet empowered men because they're the ones who, this is what happens when you're with empowered men and you're polyamory. So, hey, I noticed. Are you interested? I can go and introduce you. Want me to, wingman something? This is the fun when people don't have a fear of losing each other. It's very comfortable because no matter what happens, this is what love actually is that you're always going to be with someone. You're not alone at all, and that's because your emotional plane is important. Doing emotions is when we hold an open heart. Empowered women, men, and days have an open heart because they don't fear inadequacy. And that's because they're not afraid of losing someone they love. It's a ridiculous statement. When you ask pure consciousness, which is unconditional love, I am blessed with the capacity to share with you that I have not once been afraid of losing someone, that I can be sad, that I want the one. Yes, it's a very interesting day when you will know that the one that you know is the one doesn't want you as the one. You also want to know what a feminine will do, Rabbi? Oh, we won't be like, oh, it's so hard to let it go. No, the minute something that you don't want happens, I got taught already, thank you to my catechism and God, people will deny God exists. I've seen it all over the place. And I don't deny any of it. No, I have a direct relationship with the essence of love and life, with consciousness. In fact, this is the one thing of when I moved from 4D to 5D, it happened in a fraction of a second like that. And I knew as a feminine what was happening as it was happening and the circumstances that were at play. It was fabulous. And I think prior to that, I had had an opening to more. And this is because of the catalyst. So twin flames, they definitely, for those energetic centers, that is something that you will know. A feminine will know, even though I found out later on. I found out later on because I'm not a person who does a lot of that research, because when you're busy with your own expansion, oh, FYI, any mystic who wants to do 5D mystic, come on over, because a 4D gets you lost in a lot of places. Love, regulation. So as I was saying, you're just going to know what's happening and then find out more. So, okay, on that note, thank you for stopping by. Empowered men, women, days, twin flames, soulmates, we add to each other's life, we add value, we support each other, and we don't leave each other alone, meaning that we allow each other to want compersion always. That's for all people, because you're only going to be stingy, jealous, vengeful, spiteful, have shame, blame, fault, and revenge if you have low self-esteem. That's not empowerment. And when someone says, let me tell you how to keep a man, because women, they've learned how to have to handle it by themselves. Well, those are gender stereotypes for me. And for any empowered woman, it's going to be like, well, that's not actually how I feel about my life. I don't feel abandoned. It seems like you feel like all these women were abandoned. I mean, I know that men and women were abandoned. Yeah, and so are they from their parents, the 1-year-old. Oh, you sound like you're still holding on to that energy. That's what the ears will hear of a Jacob, by the way, because I got an objective way to say, my nervous system, can it be pouty like that? Yeah, I can be pouty like that. When was I pouty like that? Oh, yeah, that's right, when I was a teenager, and we were all saying, oh, nobody understands us at home. And I'm like, wow, we're all whining about the same thing, but it's really normal that we don't get understood at home because that's our family. We live in close quarters. Okay, empowered men and women. We're self-aware, accountable. We work with each other. So when you have men, women, theys who are getting good therapy, they bring to us what we get to work with. And we will happily continue to support someone to learn to self-regulate in a way of getting out of dysregulation, So it's an honor to be here for the people who are looking to become their own safe haven, secure base. Their 1-year-old and their 2-year-old and 3-year-old. And I know that my first 3 years of life matter, Maria. So come on over and let's do stuff. So here's where we have Pat Ogden. Let's not forget Pat Ogden. So sensory motor, I believe is what it's called, because as she shares with us, and so does Ron Siegel, but Pat Ogden, traumatized people, they often have trouble regulating by themselves. And they also have trouble seeking others and taking in the support and regulation of others. But once they have the awareness, okay, I didn't learn regulation. That's why a safe haven, secure base, an empowered woman or man or they makes me feel afraid because my 1-year-old's afraid. But now that I'm psych educated, I know Ron Siegel, Psych D. Nobody has an objective view. All of our views of reality are based on the accumulation of past experiences, most influenced by past hurts. When the first 3 years of your life, your home, and the first 8 and 16, not safe, doesn't unite and welcome, you don't learn how to regulate. When you turn into an adolescent, you're going to have a social system come online. And that's why from your attachment system to your social system, you're going to look to your peers. Your environment is going to affect what you feel, your narrative. So what you feel and think you can accomplish. And that's why I'm 44. I work with people who are grown-ups and grown-ups that want to be empowered, want to do emotions. And those grown-ups want self-help. Woo-woo spiritual is not something that they say in a way of, being offensive. It's because of respecting, again, sciences and true sciences and people of any academic, educational, and more empowered human being will come and join. The 5D collective is a bunch of us because we are here to know that, yes, the healer of the ages is that all relationships can support someone to heal trauma if that person wants to heal their trauma. That means that they're self-aware, they're accountable, and they want to regulate, and they love regulation. So they're going to take the adaptive child behavior pattern or the maladaptive child behavior pattern. They're not going to slap a demonizing or romanticizing label on it and say, this is what I am. They're going to say, so I'm working on a lot of things. And, sometimes there's things that happen. And let's talk about, I want to share with you my triggers, what stuff comes up, what goes down. Can you think you want to handle this stuff? Because, it's a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff too, don't you know? My panic attacks, I get to channel, I get to have dreams, I get to have moments where people call me woo-woo, and then, so we all have stuff. That's the point. It's not laundry though. So that's what's beautiful about empowered men, women, and theys, and 5D mystics. We got triple the fun, and we don't put anybody on pedestals. They're all here. We all are here support each other. So join us if you like, if you love people, and if you love relationships that are fun, functional adults. And Terry Real, he's great for any person who needs a person for partners and stuff. Polyamory, monoamory, mystics again, enlightenment, so age group. Love is what we are all about. Human love narrative and integration of the brain is really fun. So is being a restorative embodiment, self-aware person and using that lovely prefrontal cortex. I hope to see you back here. So like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.